Have you ever reached for an energy drink when you're tired and wondered, is this energy drink actually good for me? Then this video is for you, because tune in as I share everything you need to know about the health impact of energy drinks, especially when it comes to blood sugar management, and find out if energy drinks are actually bad for you. Erin here with Healthy Mom, Happy Family, and as a registered dietitian and a diabetes educator, I get asked a lot of questions about energy. How to increase energy? Are energy drinks bad for me? What can I take in each day to get my energy more steady? So many questions. And on the topic of energy drinks, I am seeing more and more products on the market that are labeled as sugar-free energy drinks. And this can seem really appealing if you have type 2 diabetes or you have insulin resistance and you're trying to boost energy. But are energy drinks actually a healthy way to go about this? Even if they're sugar-free, are energy drinks actually beneficial, or are they doing more harm than good? So in this video, I am going to dive into the science and help you determine once and for all whether or not you should be jumping on the energy drink train or leaving it at the door. And before we get started, I just wanted to remind you that if you are looking for tips and tricks and easy ways to manage type 2 diabetes and reverse insulin resistance, I would love to invite you to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss new tips, tricks, and recipes. Okay, so let's get started. Now, I am diving into all things energy drinks in this video and the impact they have on health. But first, you want to understand what energy drinks actually are. So these are drinks that are promoted as giving you quick energy, whether it's for athletic performance or for concentration during the day. So if you've had a poor night's sleep or you feel like you need extra energy and focus during the day, energy drinks can seem really appealing. Now, energy drinks can come in a few different forms. So one of the most popular you will see are the carbonated energy drinks. Typically they come in a can and they can be containing sugar or even sugar-free. Then there's also smaller energy shots. These are usually non-carbonated. They're meant to be consumed just all at once rather than sipped on throughout the day. And when it comes to energy products on the market, you'll see there's a variety. There are sugar-free options, there's lower sugar options, there's full sugar options, there's a variety of caffeinated levels, and some have extra antioxidants and vitamins and some don't. So there is a broad spectrum when it comes to energy drinks, but what I want to go through with you is to really understand what to look for if you are choosing an energy drink and what to be on the lookout for, what could potentially be having a negative impact on your health and on your blood sugar. So let's take a look. So first, let's look at what's actually in an energy drink and what it does. So the number one reason that most people consume energy drinks is for the caffeine content. Now, depending on the brand, the caffeine content can vary pretty dramatically. So you can see that caffeine content from popular brands can range anywhere from 80 milligrams, which is similar to a cup of coffee, all the way up to 300 milligrams of caffeine, which can be more than some people need in a day. Now, when you think about the caffeine recommendations for healthy adults, it's recommended that you consume no more than 400 milligrams of caffeine throughout the day. If you have certain health conditions, such as diabetes or cardiovascular disease, or are pregnant or are under the age of 18, caffeine intake should be limited. This is especially true for children and teenagers. Their recommendation is not to have caffeine, whereas for those that have underlying health issues, you have to talk directly with your physician, your dietitian, to understand what is the right amount, if any, for you. Now, the caffeine in energy drinks can come from a variety of sources, so you always want to look at those labels, look at the ingredient list, and really understand where that caffeine is coming from and make sure that it is an ingredient that you can actually tolerate. Another ingredient you want to look at with energy drinks are sweeteners. Now, if an energy drink is not labeled as sugar-free, it most likely has sugar. And some of these energy drinks can have an enormous amount of sugar, because we know sugar can have quick energy, but it also can be followed by a quick crash. Some brands on the market can have as much as 54 grams of added sugar or more, which is more than certain sodas. So you can see where this can be problematic, especially when you're thinking about health and blood sugar management. Now, sugar-free options many times are sweetened with a variety of low or no calorie sweeteners. So some of these are sweetened with sugar alcohols, sucralose, stevia, monk fruit, xylitol, erythritol. It can really run the gamut, and you have to really look and see, especially if you're somebody who's trying to limit certain artificial sweeteners or you don't tolerate sugar alcohols that well. You want to read the ingredient list and really understand how the product is being sweetened. Now, the benefit of these no-calorie sweeteners being used in energy drinks is that there's going to be few to no carbohydrate in the drink, so we'll have less of an impact on blood sugar. But the sugar in the energy drink is not the only thing that impacts your blood sugar, and we will talk about that more in a minute. Another ingredient you typically see in energy drinks is vitamin B. So B vitamins are really necessary for proper functioning of various metabolic pathways in your body. And these metabolic pathways ultimately result in your body producing energy. However, it's pretty rare to be deficient in B vitamins, especially if you're eating a well-rounded diet. So you don't really need these additional B vitamins coming from an energy drink. However, for some people, they feel, especially when it's vitamin B12, that it gives an immediate energy boost. Now, to put your mind at ease a bit, these are water-soluble vitamins. B vitamins are water-soluble. So most likely, if you have an excessive amount, you're just going to excrete it in your urine. It's not going to necessarily have a negative impact. However, that can be a waste of money too. So just something to give thought to is that it's not necessarily needed to have additional B vitamins if you're already eating a well-balanced diet. Now, outside of sugar or sweeteners and caffeine and B vitamins, there are some other ingredients that you occasionally will find in energy drinks. One ingredient I wanted to call attention to is an herb called ginseng. Now, ginseng contributes to that stimulating effect of energy drinks. So a major reason that you find this in energy drinks is because it is associated with brain boosting function, mental performance, mental clarity. So a lot of times brands will incorporate that to promote the drink as helping to improve focus along with energy. Now, there's many other ingredients you can find in energy drinks. You might see L-carnitine, inositol, creatine. The list can really run the gamut between a variety of vitamins and minerals and adaptogens. But one of the issues that you have to think about with these potential ingredients is that not all of them are well regulated. And because they're considered a supplement, they're not a medication, they're not going to have the same regulations. So you want to make sure that you're really looking at trusted brands, brands that have been well established, to make sure what's on the label is what you're actually getting, because that's where the concern can come in, especially if you're somebody who needs to avoid certain ingredients or certain additives. So you really want to be careful and question, what is in the product, how much, and is it a reputable brand when you're choosing an energy drink. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about energy drinks and your health. And one category I get a lot of questions on is weight. Would energy drinks help me lose weight, or would they make me gain weight? And so the thing to think about with energy drinks is if they are sugar-free and they're low in calorie, they're probably not going to have much of an impact on your body weight, because losing weight or gaining weight is really a juggle of calories. And if you're not taking in significant calories from the drink, you're most likely not going to gain weight. However, if it is a regular energy drink that has large amounts of added sugar, those are empty sugar calories. It's a significant amount of calories that provides really no satisfaction. You don't feel full from it at all, and those excess calories can absolutely lead to weight gain. The other concern is that abundance of sugar coming into the body so quickly can stimulate the body to produce more insulin, can send your blood sugar soaring, and the more insulin we have circulating in the body, the more our body stores fat versus burns it. So when we're talking about energy drinks and health, I also wanted to touch on the impact energy drinks can actually have on your teeth. And this can surprise a lot of people, but your dental health can be directly impacted by consuming a large amounts of energy drinks. The big reason is that these drinks typically have a lower pH. Even the sugar-free energy drinks have the lower pH too, let alone the excess sugar that can damage our teeth. But that low pH concentration can cause erosion of the enamel of the teeth, and it can make your teeth more sensitive and potentially make them more prone for cavities. So we do want to take that into account when you're thinking about how often you're consuming these drinks, even if they are sugar-free. It's also really important to think about your heart health when you're thinking about having energy drinks on a regular basis or as a one-off when you want a boost of energy. because these drinks can really pack a punch as far as caffeine goes. Sometimes one energy drink can be the equivalent of 4 to 5 cups of coffee. And when you're having that much caffeine in such a short period of time, it can cause your heart rate to increase a bit. You can get a rapid heart rate. You can see an increase in blood pressure. And for somebody who is at a higher risk of cardiovascular disease, somebody that already has health issues, especially heart issues, this is where there can be potential issues. So if you have high blood pressure, if you have heart disease, if you're at risk for it, talk to your doctor first before you add extra caffeine to your diet. It's something you really want to be cautious about because it can have negative consequences and in excessive amounts. So we're talking about 400 milligrams being that upper level of what we should have per day. But if one energy drink has 300 milligrams and you're having multiple of those per day, it is possible to have caffeine toxicity. That is what can cause our heart to, be at a rapid rate. It could actually cause you to pass out. It can cause you to have very significant consequences, especially in younger population and kids. And there is even rare, but there is a risk of death with excessive amounts of caffeine. So really pay attention to how much is coming in as far as the caffeine, how quickly you're drinking it, how much you're having during the day. That's something you want to be concerned about. But the biggest topic I want to talk about is the link between your blood sugar and energy drinks. And I'm sure this is, the biggest question you have watching this video and being concerned about blood sugar. So if it's an energy drink that's filled with added sugar, we know that that's going to spike blood sugar. But even the sugar-free versions can have an impact on blood sugar. Now, it's not from the sugar content or the carbohydrate content because that's pretty much low to zero depending on the drink if it's a sugar-free one. But you do have to worry about caffeine, because the way your body responds to caffeine is different from one person to the next. Not everybody metabolizes caffeine in the same way. And for some individuals, blood sugar will actually increase upon ingestion of caffeine. For others, it doesn't have as big of an impact, but there's no way to know unless you're testing your blood sugar frequently. So if you have elevated blood sugar levels, I would highly recommend testing your blood sugar before and after whenever consuming caffeine to see your tolerance, because it's very possible that having a sugar-free drink that's rich in caffeine can spike your blood sugar levels, especially if you have type 2 diabetes. So this can cause you to become further insulin resistant and make it harder to manage blood sugar long term. So you definitely want to understand how caffeine is impacting your individual blood sugar, and that is where frequent testing is important. One other lesser known or lesser talked about consequence of too much energy drinks too is the impact on mental health. Excessive caffeine can really cause you to feel more anxious and jittery. It can cause interruptions in your sleep, which can impact your mood and your stress levels. So be very in tune with how you as an individual respond to these energy drinks. If you feel more anxious, if you're not sleeping as well, if you see a negative impact on your mood, then that is something that you need to cut back on. And that is something that you want to think about how much you're already having and how frequently, and cut back gradually over time, because your body does become adjusted to a level of caffeine. So if you quit cold turkey, you're more likely to have headaches and fatigue. But if you scale down over time, it's much easier to wean yourself off of that caffeine with less side effects. Now, I mentioned this briefly, but the impact energy drinks can have on sleep is something you really want to consider too, especially when we think about the link between poor sleep and insulin resistance and blood sugar management. So when you think about caffeine, caffeine has a half-life of about 8 hours, which means that if you drink something that has 100 milligrams of caffeine right now, 8 hours from now, you still have 50 milligrams of caffeine in your system. Caffeine's a stimulant. So even if you fall asleep, it can disrupt sleep where you're not getting that restful REM state of sleep. You have more interrupted sleep. And when you don't have quality sleep, you wake up and your body's actually more insulin resistant. You'll see more fluctuation in your blood sugar levels. Your appetite hormones are disrupted, which means you're hungrier and you don't feel quite as satisfied after eating. And stress levels can go up. So all of those things as a whole can have a direct impact on your health and on your energy levels, but of course blood sugar management too. So when you think about caffeine intake, you always want to have it at least 8 to 10 hours before bedtime, and think about the quantity too. If you're having 300 milligrams at noon and you're going to bed at 8 o'clock at night, there's still 150 milligrams of caffeine in your body. That's going to make it really hard to fall asleep. So think about the quantity of caffeine and the time frame as far as how your body metabolizes it so it doesn't impact your sleep. All right, so let's talk about the bottom line on energy drinks, especially sugar-free energy drinks, and if they are bad for you or if there's something you can incorporate on a regular basis. So in my opinion, as a registered dietitian, as a certified diabetes educator, I think that the potential side effects of these energy drinks outweigh the potential benefits. And if you were to incorporate them, I would say moderation is key. Early in the day, before 12 o'clock in the afternoon, or at least 10 hours before bedtime, I would make sure that you're sticking with one a day and look for a sugar-free energy drink that's more in line with the caffeine content of a cup of coffee or tea versus the ones that have 300 or 400 milligrams per serving. With all of that being said, every single one of us is an individual. Everyone responds differently. Never make decisions based on general information. Speak with your physician, speak with your own registered dietitian. Know what is right for you. Some people shouldn't have any caffeine at all. Some have a higher tolerance. Some have an impact on blood sugar, and some don't see much of an impact at all from caffeine on blood sugar. So you need to test frequently, you need to speak to your physician, and you need to do what's right for you as an individual. And I would say that when it comes to caffeine, there's always better options maybe than the energy drinks, which can have a lot of different ingredients added to them and maybe not be as well regulated. A glass of green tea, a cup of coffee, matcha, anything like that would be a bit of a more natural way to get in the caffeine too, and something where you don't have to worry about those additives that might have a potential negative consequence. So let me know your thoughts and comments below. I would love to hear from you and hear the questions you have when it comes to energy drinks and the impact on blood sugar. And if you found today's video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss new tips, tricks, and recipes. Thanks for joining me.